Namaste, beautiful yogis. A few days ago, I asked you to ask me questions on Instagram, and it's actually been, it might have been over a week. So I'm finally getting to do a Q&A video, and I'll just answer a few of your questions. I'll try to answer as many as I can, and we'll take it from there. We'll do another Q&A very soon. So I just finished doing yoga for tired days, or yoga for when you're sleeping, and it was refreshing but calming, and I'm a little bit not too chill but pretty fresh, because I didn't sleep all that great, so that's why we did that yoga. Anyways, we're gonna start with the first question. How many days a week do you practice yoga? How long is the practice? Do you do any other form of exercise? How much is too much? I pretty much practice daily. If I skip, if I skip a day because I skip because either I didn't have time that day, or we went out, or something like this. Overall, I don't have a planned rest day for the week because I really love moving a little bit or a lot every day, and usually it's been it hasn't been very heavy. My movement hasn't been really heavy, especially since I had my baby, but I still do a hard class at least once a week, sometimes up to 3 times a week. I do have quite a bit of energy, and sometimes I have this insane energy inside of me that I have to get out. And sometimes I tell myself it's gonna be a mellow class, but it is not. Maybe those are the classes you've seen sometimes from me, and it's just this bubbling out of me energy. So I have to honor it. But over the years, I have incorporated mellow classes, and back in the day, I would never do a very beginner flow just for myself. Nowadays, I would do a beginner flow as well, and that works pretty well. Too much is too much. If you feel exhausted after your workouts, if you get sore or very sore, you're doing too much. If your mood gets influenced by your workouts, that's too much. If you have colds and flu, that might be also not sleeping, and other factors, food, not proper food, other factors might be involved there. But if you're getting sick, any sickness, in particular viral or immunity related conditions, or even conditions related to your adrenals and stuff, then you're doing too much. But the remedy for too much is not nothing, it's in between. So it's that tricky balance. The same way, if you eat too much, the remedy is not to stop eating, it's just to find the balance. So it's hard. Everybody has a different need for exercise. Mine is quite high, but still I do, let's put it this way, I give 80% of my maximum effort once every 2 weeks. The rest is 30 to 60% of my maximum effort. So I'm not going super hard, not hitting it super hard. I'm just moving and just feeling the movement and enjoying myself. And really, I try to do only things that are quite pleasurable. I have Taurus rising, so if something doesn't feel good, I'm not gonna do it. So it has to feel good. And sometimes you see me do all this jumping and sweating and stuff, it's because it feels so freaking good. And those maybe are the 80% effort. And then I would have at least 3 days a week where the effort is pretty mellow, 30%. This is really a little more difficult than walking. And sometimes it's even easier than walking, just moving in different ways. So don't feel that you have to kill yourself every day of the week. Once, twice maximum effort, and by maximum I actually mean 80%. Maximum is only competition day, and we don't compete, most of us, so 80%, 1 to 2 a week is enough. The rest you can do a little bit of intervals, a little bit of dance, or the groovy classes I have, a little bit of vinyasa of different levels, vary the levels. Even if you're advanced, do beginner every so often, and your body will thank you, your immunity will be happy, and so forth. So that's the way to know. If you're if your moods are kind of fluctuating around your workouts and you're getting hit by more depressive moments after a workout or the day following a workout, again, it's probably a little too much. So you have to judge for yourself. No one really can tell you, no one can give you a proper schedule, even if it's customized for you. You still have to be the final judge. I hope this answers the question. Let's see another one. Any advice for someone wanting to become a certified yoga instructor? I've practiced on and off for a few years, but I'm not crazy confident about my practice. I don't know where to start for looking for a good program and if I'm ready for that. Well, I've been mentioning that I will have a teacher training sometime soon, hoping in this year, 2019, but let's see, hopefully I will be able to prepare it. And at first I think it will be online, but then it will be, I'll try to do in person once or twice a year. We'll see. Meanwhile, you're not crazy confident. You will never be without practice, and without doing it in the world, the confidence comes with practice. So you have to start somewhere. If you're not confident in your own personal practice, I would say then practice more. Do a little more of your own practice until your practice feels fluid, it feels awesome. Because someone said this to me a while ago, and I think it's really true. If you struggle in your practice, you're gonna teach struggle. So you wanna teach ease. It doesn't matter. And someone commented on a video today, this class was strong but not hard. The tweak of words is very important. You don't want to teach hard classes, you want to teach strong classes. And of course, every recipient receives from their own place of practice and awareness and consciousness and state of being. But you can put it out there that is something strong and powerful, but not something hard. And so that's my answer basically. If your practice in itself is not confident, then continue practicing up until you really become friends with yoga and with your practice. If your practice is good, you're just not confident as a teacher, there's no substitute to just teaching and teaching and teaching. I taught thousands of hours before I started YouTube, and at some point I started to resent it because it was a lot of driving and there was just a lot of effort put into it and nothing that I was getting in return. The monetary part is really not that great when you're teaching so many hours and driving so much. So the other return was kind of okay. Well, it didn't feel like I'm changing anybody's life, or for some classes it felt pretty good, and for other classes okay, but in how much effort I was putting out, I wasn't getting nearly half in return. Of course, you have to have a flow of energy, otherwise it's unsustainable energy and you're gonna quit. So I taught thousands of classes before I started YouTube, which became way more gratifying for me. I always knew that I want to do distance work, distance healing work. I didn't know it's going to be YouTube. I thought I'm gonna have a farm, a herbal farm, and I'll be preparing just particular herbs and sending them away to people. So again, I thought it's gonna be a distance internet type of work. I always wanted to be in the healing arts, in the distance healing arts, so no hands-on. This found me, but the reason why it found me is because I put the hours in, the thousands of hours of getting ready to teach in. And then when I started teaching YouTube, that was after I had quit. So that is a really long answer to your question. As far as teacher trainings, I can't really recommend one that I haven't been to. So I'm not the right. I get that question really a lot, but for me to give you to recommend the teacher training, I have to have been there, and I don't know. Mine was a long time ago, so I don't know. I have no idea which one is good, but hopefully I will be offering one soon, and I will put a lot of effort into really giving you tools to teach well. So if you wait, I'll come out with one. Other than that, I know there is good teacher trainings, but maybe research their ratings and reviews and so forth before you commit to one. A lot of them, I don't know, they sometimes overtrain the people, sometimes sometimes I know they're very intense and it's far too much focus on certain parts of the, like either too much on the guru culture of yoga or on certain type of yogic anatomy, but not breaking out of that. I'm gonna do a well-rounded training where we're not gonna do traditional about just old school yoga. We're gonna include everything that I include in interval yoga, so that we are breaking out of a box and feeling with the body rather than being transmuted knowledge that it hasn't become truth in our own body. I hope that makes sense. All right, next. Do you have a guru? I just kind of mentioned the guru, and I have someone that I consider my spiritual teacher. I've mentioned him many times. He's a Bulgarian master. I discovered him or found him. He passed in 1944. It's not an in-person teacher, but his teachings have been life-changing for me. I feel like the sunlight came into my life when I discovered his teachings. Really deeply spiritual stuff, not very well translated in English. A Bulgarian master called Widen, and his teachings really profoundly changed me. Actually, coming into yoga, I was extremely spiritual, and I think yoga grounded me and made me far more physical and far less spiritual, kind of in a try to balance the extremes way, because I was far too spiritual and yoga was the non-spiritual path for me. I know for other people it's the opposite, but for me it was that. I just felt the body more, felt the physical, tried to ground myself in the physical world, because for me the other, I don't want to sound too strange and weird, but I really understand other spheres of existence far better than this physical realm. I don't feel like I'm very proficient in this, although I do have a lot of planets in Aries, which are the physical body. They're in 12th house, so through the physical I can express the spiritual, so to speak. Anyway, so that's my quote-unquote guru. I don't have a guru, someone that I would, my guru would be my intuition, and as far as spiritual knowledge, I do consider being sadhana my spiritual teacher. All right, I'm giving you long answers. Do you have bad mood days? How do you help yourself in that case? Well, yeah, who doesn't? Yeah, I'm absolutely a normal human being I'm actually, everybody tells me that I'm extremely moody. Maybe that's why I started doing yoga, so I can regulate my moods. But in human design, I'm actually a non-emotional type generator. Non-emotional, which means that if I'm by myself, I don't create moods and emotions. Like I don't have those dips and stuff. If I'm by myself, I feel pretty good, ecstatic. Normally, I wouldn't sink into a bad mood. I wouldn't. By myself, I'm pretty even keel. Around people, I can pick up energies and stuff and appear very moody. That's what I've been told. I don't feel it internally. I don't feel like I'm a moody person, but there has not been one person in my life that has not told me that I'm very moody. So yes, I think I am, but I don't feel it. I feel pretty happy. And if I'm not happy, I'm pretty honest about it. I always discuss it with my friends. If there is something, the one thing that really gets me as far as moods go is nostalgia. I really idealize certain things about the past. How do I deal with it? Yoga, breathing, learning to be present, learning to live in the present moment, and also not, in general, not being caught up in this physical existence, because it's so brief and we'll all be gone in 100 years from now. Everybody that is right now part of our community is probably gonna be, most of them are probably gonna be gone. So the things that will matter are really very profound and ethereal, and most of the things that put us in a bad mood are really pointless and irrelevant and unimportant. So just keeping a perspective of on life that is more grand, looking at the big picture and not worrying about details. That's my thing, and I can talk for hours about this because, again, I have so much stuff in Pisces and so much 12th house, so many things in 12th house. This is totally the final house in astrology, the final sign, and I feel like I get that dissolved experience of reality very well. And that's, I think, what has powered my yoga classes. I think that's how I've been able to do the strong and the ethereal, spiritual thing that I try to combine, or that it combines without me trying. All right, next one. Any tips for insomnia during pregnancy? This is a hard one. I slept so well during my pregnancy, except for, I think, in the second or in the third trimester. In between those two, I had restless leg syndrome, and I increased my iron. It started happening on days when I had not eaten a lot of grains, and when I researched it, I saw that it's related to iron, so I increased my grains. I was not constantly taking prenatal, but started taking prenatal a little more often, and that kind of resolved it. Plus I did a lot of yoga. I do have an everyday 5 minutes yoga poses that you should do. So it depends what causes the insomnia. Is it back pain, discomfort? If it's discomfort, it really depends what causes the insomnia. If it's discomfort from your belly being too big, then get one of those pillows, the big pillows that are for pregnancy, or sleep with two pillows. One about this high between the knees, so that puts your pelvis in a proper alignment, so that your knees are not collapsing into each other and your hips are out. That puts a lot of pressure on the hips and on the lower back. Put the pillow between the knees. That really helps with aligning the spine, the belly, and feeling better, supporting the belly even. If I don't know what it is caused by, you have to be more, just message me with if you watch this video what causes, and I'll try to think of things. Now you can also take chamomile tea before bed. I don't remember, was there indication for chamomile tea? Most things taken in normal quantities are okay. I can't remember. Oh, one thing that really helped me is I had my partner massage my back every night with lavender oil. And the lavender oil I used was very high grade, therapeutic grade lavender oil, and that really calms you down and you sleep like a log. I did sleep probably solely 10 hours most days of my pregnancy, except for a few times I got up with the restless legs, but I resolved it within a week. So I would say lavender, put the pillow, try to do yoga during the day so your energy is flowing. Try to walk a lot so your energy is flowing, because if you sit a lot, or if you're not exercising enough, your sleep would be affected. I don't know if there is a different reason, if I didn't cover it, if it's a different reason that causes your insomnia. Obviously no coffee. If you have coffee, did I have coffee? I think I did. Yeah, I had some coffee, half a cup of coffee I had after the 4th month. But that's what it was half a cup. Don't increase it more than that, because it can cause you to have insomnia. Even it may cause you to wake up at 4 in the morning or early in the morning. You may go to bed but then wake up. So that's it. Monitor your caffeine. The lavender oil was really good. Fennel tea, fennel seed tea, dill seed, those are really calming. I know for a fact that the lavender oil is very safe, and I really tested it, so go with that first and then take it from there. Let's see. Does the kind of yoga you do have religious roots? Do you observe the religious origin of, or just use the movements? I think I kind of covered this question in the previous ones. No, I would say my deep spirituality does not come from yoga. I find yoga to be far less spiritual than like the spirituality that I was coming from. As I said I grounded myself in the yoga, because yoga is quite it's a well-rounded discipline. It's spiritual, but it's also physical, and it combines the two, where you can really anchor yourself and balance yourself out. So I absolutely do not observe religious, traditions. I feel that this question kind of implies that yoga, religious yoga, is superior. Maybe I'm wrong. But it says if it's either religious or movement, but there is another whole other area here. So you can do the movements without being religious, but you can be totally profoundly connected to the divine. I feel that my whole search is to have this, to preserve this connection to the divine that we all have within. So basically to keep reawakening and preserve it within, and that is the reason why we do yoga. It's not just movement. I hope that answers the question. And is there another? This is a long one. Hi Ali, first off, I would just like to say thank you for the 30-day free and beautiful yoga. I have been doing your yoga classes online for the past 8 years. No one compares to you. Thank you. And yeah, we're finishing now the 30-day hero journey through yoga. If you haven't done it, if you're watching this video in the future, just do it. Start it at any time. It is completely free and it is on YouTube. Ali Kamenova, Hero's Journey Through Yoga. You'll find it on my channel, or even if you Google it, and do it. It's very suitable for all levels. I geared it towards beginners. If you're advanced, you still enjoy the slowing down pace, and you can do it on your days off. But yeah, find it online. All right, back to the question. My question is about Warrior One position. I have been doing yoga for a while, and whenever I'm in Warrior One, I sometimes feel compression on my lower back. Is this normal? No, you shouldn't. Now, with Warrior One, there must be something within your own anatomy that is misaligning, so you're going to have to tweak the pose enough to where there is no compression. The first tweak I would say is spread your feet so that they're hip width apart. So something like that. I don't know if they're showing, but something like that, where instead of heel to heel alignment, you're going to have hip width alignment, and see if that helps. Level the hips, square the hips, see if you are tilting something, try to balance it out. This particular alignment is probably gonna fix the issue, but definitely don't do anything that causes compression or feeling of compression. Maybe you're arching too much, so try to pull the belly, try to really pull the belly in. I don't know if this is showing, hopefully. Tuck the tailbone under and really draw in the core, engage Mula Bandha. Feel compression. Is this normal? I know you say we don't have to perfect the pose, but it still sometimes feel like an awkward pose for me when I'm trying to align my hips. Okay, that's the end of the question. Yeah, I think I answered it. The perfect pose is just that it doesn't need to be picture perfect, but as far as how it feels, you should feel near them perfect. So within your body, when you check in, it should feel really, really amazing. Every pose, that applies to every single pose. The challenge of stepping out of your comfort zone is when you're building strength, but building strength is challenging but not hard. It feels good. If something feels like it's not working with your anatomy, just adjust it to your anatomy. Sometimes some people can do a downward dog without feeling back pain, then they have to really adjust how they align it, and it won't look really similar to the normal pose, to the perfect pose, but you have to adjust it to your own body. I think this is the last question. Hi, I love your philosophy, your spiritual practice, your yoga sessions, all of it. I'm forever thankful. I'm curious if you can answer this question in the next Q&A video. How can I widen my hips? I've noticed that my hips have become more narrow the more I sit and work. Do I need to do any posturing? I do have a pelvic tilt I'm working on fixing. I also have issues with my spine as well as my hips. I hear crunching when I do a squat sometimes. It all sounds bad, but I've noticed my negative symptoms going away when I do yoga, weight training, and FRC training. Curious what specific poses or anything I could I should follow to allow my hips to widen themselves naturally. I've noticed any poses that allow me to push my hips out and body back seems to feel great, and it helps. Sorry if it's a long one. I really look up to you and I love your teachings. Thank you for everything. Well, thank you. And by widen your hips, you don't mean to widen how they look, right? You mean to just open them. Yeah, do vinyasa and do the poses that you mentioned that feel good. Always, even when you go to a physical therapist, you should always check in with yourself, because what feels good is in your body, and what works in your body is the most important part. So yeah, I do include them so much, those squats. So do those squats, because they will strengthen all the supportive muscles around the hips, the glutes, so that they can put your body in a nice alignment. Also core poses that will strengthen the core and the lower back, and that will support the hips. Or obviously hip strengthening exercises, which I have hip strengthening, at least a few hip strengthening classes, so you can Google that. I have a few on YouTube, free ones, and I'm sure there is quite a few on the website. So strengthen the hips, open the hips. With my hip opening flows are really good, and interval training should do the job as well in combination with yoga. And between opening, and it really depends on your body. You're saying you have a little bit of a tilt back. Core, you have to strengthen the core. See if you need to open the chest, see how your posture is all around, if you need twists, strengthening the glutes and the hips would really help a lot. And whatever you said feels good, which is the squats with the booty back, do more of those. Do the ones that really feel like they're bringing you back into balance. And the hips, I think this was a very vague answer, but I really don't know what causes you to feel that your hips, and well, you said you sit a lot, then hip openers as well as hip strengthening poses. That the combination of hip openers and hip strengthening is gold. And I think those are the ones I snapped a photo of. So if you have other questions, post them under this video, and they will be the questions for our next Q&A. Thank you all for watching and for joining me today, and I shall see you very soon. Namaste.